Was her grandmother a songwriter? Was her grandmother a songwriter? May not usually prevail. May not usually prevail. We have no finished tickets. We have no finished tickets. Was he jumping 4 days ago? Was he jumping 4 days ago? I'm crawling in the city. I'm crawling in the city. They are not discovered. They are not discovered. Should he be a geologist? Should he be a geologist? He is a columnist. He is a columnist. They can be removed on a weekly basis. They can be removed on a weekly basis. Are we building now? Are we building now? His stepson was a monk. His stepson was a monk. The company was founded in the late 1990s. The company was founded in the late 1990s. I'm sorry I knocked over your vase. I'm sorry I knocked over your vase. Doesn't it go to the notary in 3 seconds? Doesn't it go to the notary in 3 seconds? This white phone is bigger than the blue phone. This white phone is bigger than the blue phone. Shouldn't you be putting 4 weekends back? Shouldn't you be putting 4 weekends back? I could smell the delicious smell of freshly brewed coffee. I could smell the delicious smell of freshly brewed coffee. Can happen every day. Can happen every day. We can never succeed. We can never succeed. Hiking in the mountains is my favorite. Hiking in the mountains is my favorite. Your stepfather was an architect. Your stepfather was an architect. Should it be chosen? Should it be chosen? Increases. Increases. Was his half-brother a gymnast? Was his half-brother a gymnast? I work as a teacher. I work as a teacher. Can't lift it from time to time? Can't lift it from time to time? You will get fortnight. You will get fortnight. Can you add more salt to my food? Can you add more salt to my food? When? When? I did not repeat it at dawn. I did not repeat it at dawn. They danced at the party. They danced at the party. Can we talk after you and I make plans? Can we talk after you and I make plans? Washed last year? Washed last year? Where did you walk? Where did you walk? Not sure if I'm in the mood for this. Not sure if I'm in the mood for this. Will you buy it? Will you buy it? Will he be out of shape sometimes? Will he be out of shape sometimes? Can't we connect? Can't we connect? Are you okay? Are you okay? I want to learn more about this. I want to learn more about this. They should not cook at dusk. They should not cook at dusk. You are not normally a doctor. You are not normally a doctor. They gather. They gather. Cruising. Cruising. By the end of the week, I will have completed all my training. By the end of the week, I will have completed all my training. To make a decision. To make a decision. John, are you here? John, are you here? 21st century. 21st century. I'll have to buy a new dress. I'll have to buy a new dress. We'll review. We'll review. May not buy after a year. May not buy after a year. Can I lie down at sunrise? Can I lie down at sunrise? I can go to school. I can go to school. I don't need it anymore. I don't need it anymore. I need to charge my phone before going to bed. I need to charge my phone before going to bed. We shouldn't be interested after 3 p.m. We shouldn't be interested after 3 p.m. Radiate. Radiate. He takes pictures with his camera. He takes pictures with his camera. Not everyone agrees with this decision. Not everyone agrees with this decision. The next part of this journey went much faster. The next part of this journey went much faster. What are you doing in the garden? What are you doing in the garden? Will you go to the school? Will you go to the school? Can't we ask at night? Can't we ask at night? Also, Annie had a cold. Also, Annie had a cold. Did they answer? Did they answer? I know I can always count on him. I know I can always count on him. Wouldn't we usually be technicians? Wouldn't we usually be technicians? Can he calculate at twilight? Can he calculate at twilight? Would it go forward? Would it go forward? He wasn't the chef every year. He wasn't the chef every year. May not develop normally. May not develop normally. He wouldn't complain. He wouldn't complain. Can't he be a porter at noon? Can't he be a porter at noon? Our grandson is an oncologist. Our grandson is an oncologist. They were not sold every month. They were not sold every month. Can they search? Can they search? It was a huge success. It was a huge success. Apart from that, the most important thing is that we finish the project. Apart from that, the most important thing is that we finish the project. We were discussing our plans for the weekend. We were discussing our plans for the weekend. What is your favorite sport? What is your favorite sport? We would care. We would care. Aren't you normally supposed to be a sportscaster? Aren't you normally supposed to be a sportscaster? What is your job? What is your job? Can you please explain this again? Can you please explain this again? Is my stepdaughter a carpenter? Is my stepdaughter a carpenter? To follow. To follow. Mary will be aware of this situation. Mary will be aware of this situation. He will go on vacation in the summer. He will go on vacation in the summer. His sister was an analyst. His sister was an analyst. Well, nowadays there is a lot of investment in my country. Well, nowadays there is a lot of investment in my country. Can't support after 4 seconds? Can't support after 4 seconds? Are there stepson philosophers? Are there stepson philosophers? Can he become a urologist after 2 years? Can he become a urologist after 2 years? Can I have a receipt? Can I have a receipt? The agency works to help the homeless. The agency works to help the homeless. You will not complain. You will not complain. Maybe one day job. Maybe one day job. This is our last lesson this week. This is our last lesson this week. Was his wife a writer? Was his wife a writer? He yawned. He yawned. Stay here with us in the small town. Stay here with us in the small town. I'm not damaged, I'm just curious. I'm not damaged, I'm just curious. Have you ever been to Atlanta? Have you ever been to Atlanta? I'll need to take his temperature before continuing. I'll need to take his temperature before continuing. Frozen. Frozen. Are his half-brothers fishermen? Are his half-brothers fishermen? The surgeon will be here to talk to you before the procedure. The surgeon will be here to talk to you before the procedure. I have a pain in my chest. I have a pain in my chest. Is my husband a cook? Is my husband a cook? Don't you get organized often? Don't you get organized often? What will I say? What will I say? I wasn't hurt. I wasn't hurt. Can't we believe it after 5 months? Can't we believe it after 5 months? I'm going to the nightclub. I'm going to the nightclub. Controversial. Controversial. Not everyone is as lucky as us. Not everyone is as lucky as us. I'm sure you'll remember all the words we learned. I'm sure you'll remember all the words we learned. Can you differentiate? Can you differentiate? We may not be able to save last year. We may not be able to save last year. We forget at noon. We forget at noon. Is his son a travel agent? Is his son a travel agent? They don't leave later in the morning. They don't leave later in the morning. Was he an astronomer 3 centuries ago? Was he an astronomer 3 centuries ago? Filled 4 minutes ago? Filled 4 minutes ago? 4 afternoons can they focus? 4 afternoons can they focus? May I have your customs declaration form, please? May I have your customs declaration form, please? Before making any decision, we need to consider all the options. Before making any decision, we need to consider all the options. Could you pass me the salt, please? Could you pass me the salt, please? Will they fix it right away? Will they fix it right away? You must add earlier. You must add earlier. Should we usually provide? Should we usually provide? I didn't want to embarrass you. I didn't want to embarrass you. Is he playing? Is he playing? Never be able to babysit. Never be able to babysit. Can't I exercise? Can't I exercise? Don't you hit? Don't you hit? Is your wife an investigator? Is your wife an investigator? A project is a plan or a set of activities. A project is a plan or a set of activities. Can we have lunch together one day? Can we have lunch together one day? We will be able to present our findings very soon. We will be able to present our findings very soon. Are you trying to say what your criteria are? Are you trying to say what your criteria are? I'm reading my favorite author's book. I'm reading my favorite author's book. You choose after 3 days. You choose after 3 days. According to the book, the story takes place in the future. According to the book, the story takes place in the future. If the weather is not wet, I will go outside. If the weather is not wet, I will go outside. Why do you want to travel? Why do you want to travel? Extra Fit and Fair Man is my favorite feed. Extra Fit and Fair Man is my favorite feed. Shouldn't it air at dusk? Shouldn't it air at dusk? Can't I compare? Can't I compare? Shouldn't be gardening for 10 years. Shouldn't be gardening for 10 years. Why do you think that? Why do you think that? Is your mother-in-law a historian? Is your mother-in-law a historian? I have to connect at noon. I have to connect at noon. I produce. I produce. Held at 5 o'clock the previous evening? Held at 5 o'clock the previous evening? I nanny next year. I nanny next year. Will they be chefs later at 4 p.m.? Will they be chefs later at 4 p.m.? At noon we have to name. At noon we have to name. Worried every now and then? Worried every now and then? I have a lot of confidence. I have a lot of confidence. Didn't you wake up at 2 a.m. before? Didn't you wake up at 2 a.m. before? My aunt is an analyst. My aunt is an analyst. I am available. I am available. Do you have any medical conditions? Do you have any medical conditions? I hit my leg. I hit my leg. They go to the park for a picnic. They go to the park for a picnic. I replied 5 months ago. I replied 5 months ago. They would not ignore. They would not ignore. Your half-brother is a stockbroker. Your half-brother is a stockbroker. Her husband is a detective. Her husband is a detective. The musicians will be playing at the jazz club tonight. The musicians will be playing at the jazz club tonight. I can't wait for a fun-filled weekend. I can't wait for a fun-filled weekend. After the storm passed, the sun came out. After the storm passed, the sun came out. You can go now. You can go now. I didn't. I didn't. Was your sister a rower? Was your sister a rower? Not expanding now. Not expanding now. Let me know if your situation changes. Let me know if your situation changes. Write me a book outline on the best guide to mindful eating. Write me a book outline on the best guide to mindful eating. Let us do it. Let us do it. Is your sister a notary? Is your sister a notary? Was your nephew a statistician? Was your nephew a statistician? Will you be a songwriter later? Will you be a songwriter later? Girls must love you. Girls must love you. Because my department is English. Because my department is English. Can I get your help? Can I get your help? Husband nanny. Husband nanny. Perception. Perception. They may not be affected. They may not be affected. 2. I don't notice anything special about the case. 2. I don't notice anything special about the case. Reconcile. Reconcile. I don't think that shirt belongs to you. I don't think that shirt belongs to you. Was your brother a cleaner? Was your brother a cleaner? Can dominate. Can dominate. Didn't he make a sound before? Didn't he make a sound before? He has $24. He has $24. Was our stepsister a businesswoman? Was our stepsister a businesswoman? Do we need to diversify? Do we need to diversify? Don't you suspect? Don't you suspect? Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Can we complain? Can we complain? Won't it hurt? Won't it hurt? Our friends started to read the onboarding documents. Our friends started to read the onboarding documents. I can't believe how fast the year goes by. I can't believe how fast the year goes by. After 4 months it should be taken care of. After 4 months it should be taken care of. I'm sorry you didn't win. I'm sorry you didn't win. He would say. He would say. Then it may appear. Then it may appear. I'm going to join an English-speaking group. I'm going to join an English-speaking group. I can't survive before. I can't survive before. The carpet was so dirty that I had to buy a new one. The carpet was so dirty that I had to buy a new one. Your children were nurses. Your children were nurses. What is your address? What is your address? Wouldn't we challenge? Wouldn't we challenge? The sun rises from the east. The sun rises from the east. They cannot win. They cannot win. Can I evaluate? Can I evaluate? Do you have to answer at 5 p.m.? Do you have to answer at 5 p.m.? Was his son a glazier? Was his son a glazier? We will attend a conference in 2 weeks. We will attend a conference in 2 weeks. May I speak to the manager, please? May I speak to the manager, please? Could not develop occasionally. Could not develop occasionally. I worked in a cafe during my college years. I worked in a cafe during my college years. If it's dirty, I don't go out. If it's dirty, I don't go out. He has lived in London for 5 years. He has lived in London for 5 years. If yes, did you encounter any problems with it? If yes, did you encounter any problems with it? Can he lose? Can he lose? Can we have lunch together one day? Can we have lunch together one day? Sorry, I can't sit here. Sorry, I can't sit here. I don't notice anything special about the subject at hand. I don't notice anything special about the subject at hand. I say, doesn't he complain? Doesn't he complain? Can't we be nurses now? Can't we be nurses now? There will be some questions. There will be some questions. Why don't I show you how to do this properly? Why don't I show you how to do this properly? Does he care at night? Does he care at night? Shouldn't it then? Shouldn't it then? Should not leave every day. Should not leave every day. Would you like a cup of coffee? Would you like a cup of coffee? Grandson's nanny. Grandson's nanny. Should it wash? Should it wash? You will breastfeed once a month. You will breastfeed once a month. The only way to achieve our goals is to come together. The only way to achieve our goals is to come together. We will ship after today. We will ship after today. Air purifier helps with allergies and asthma. Air purifier helps with allergies and asthma. Was our son a waiter? Was our son a waiter? When we finish this walk, we will be walking for 4 hours. When we finish this walk, we will be walking for 4 hours. I've never been a jeweler before. I've never been a jeweler before. Sometimes they were musicians. Sometimes they were musicians. We accept immediately. We accept immediately. I didn't think it would be this hard. I didn't think it would be this hard. Is your nephew a waiter? Is your nephew a waiter? I am confused. I am confused. We must become scientists every year. We must become scientists every year. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. Can you review? Can you review? After 5 minutes they would grow. After 5 minutes they would grow. Songwriter every month. Songwriter every month. To judge at sunset. To judge at sunset. Can I confirm often? Can I confirm often? Does not provide annual reports. Does not provide annual reports. Our husband is a lieutenant. Our husband is a lieutenant. Works for 10 years. Works for 10 years. And I was wondering if you said anything. And I was wondering if you said anything. Is our brother an inventor? Is our brother an inventor? We are unable to book hotels until we confirm our travel dates. We are unable to book hotels until we confirm our travel dates. Will he become a foreman in 3 months? Will he become a foreman in 3 months? Compare the 2 options before making a decision. Compare the 2 options before making a decision. Increases at dawn. Increases at dawn. I'm going to play ball in the garden with my friends after class tomorrow. I'm going to play ball in the garden with my friends after class tomorrow. When I woke up, he had already had his breakfast. When I woke up, he had already had his breakfast. I have a pair of socks. I have a pair of socks. I am very confident in myself. I am very confident in myself. Will he lose every month? Will he lose every month? What did you have? What did you have? The distance between the 2 cities is about 200 miles. The distance between the 2 cities is about 200 miles. She had been practicing yoga for years before becoming a trainer. She had been practicing yoga for years before becoming a trainer. Can we normally be a mechanic? Can we normally be a mechanic? He can't wonder after 5 in the morning. He can't wonder after 5 in the morning. Did you become a grocer afterwards? Did you become a grocer afterwards? Didn't we take care of every week? Didn't we take care of every week? Cable of a monitor. Cable of a monitor. Do you like to take photos? Do you like to take photos? Have I blocked it now? Have I blocked it now? They need to finish their homework before watching TV. They need to finish their homework before watching TV. They were free to leave the building after the fire alarm went wrong. They were free to leave the building after the fire alarm went wrong. Will I propose at twilight? Will I propose at twilight? I'm going to the gym. I'm going to the gym. They may not have been suitable before. They may not have been suitable before. The situation is beyond the scope of my understanding. The situation is beyond the scope of my understanding. I may not always look. I may not always look. Weren't they invited? Weren't they invited? What is your favorite sandwich filling? What is your favorite sandwich filling? It may rain. It may rain. We are not just pediatricians. We are not just pediatricians. Do they mean? Do they mean? Air purifier helps with allergies and asthma. Air purifier helps with allergies and asthma. I had breakfast at home. I had breakfast at home. I'm not sure I can do this, but I'll try. I'm not sure I can do this, but I'll try. I burned my finger on the stove. I burned my finger on the stove. We must respect the wishes of the deceased. We must respect the wishes of the deceased. Will he lose every month? Will he lose every month? We were going to be linguists in a month. We were going to be linguists in a month. Can they watch? Can they watch? Is his stepson a naturalist? Is his stepson a naturalist? Didn't you say weekly? Didn't you say weekly? Rarely can it tick? Rarely can it tick? I will prescribe you some medicines. I will prescribe you some medicines. In 3 hours we have to shout. In 3 hours we have to shout. You can become a monk right away. You can become a monk right away. We go for a walk on Sunday. We go for a walk on Sunday. Shouldn't they match? Shouldn't they match? It can be poison. It can be poison. His grandfather was a bounty hunter. His grandfather was a bounty hunter. He was not a night watchman back then. He was not a night watchman back then. Did we win a minute ago? Did we win a minute ago? The river flows into the sea. The river flows into the sea. Should not question. Should not question. His half-sisters are cashiers. His half-sisters are cashiers. Was her daughter the jury? Was her daughter the jury? Will they give orders a day later? Will they give orders a day later? They have a rest after 1 week. They have a rest after 1 week. If you think it will help. If you think it will help. What letter is this? What letter is this? My nephew was a clown. My nephew was a clown. 18 years old. 18 years old. I may not have accepted before. I may not have accepted before. I will check the doctor. Thank you. I will check the doctor. Thank you. Shouldn't he be a playwright sometimes? Shouldn't he be a playwright sometimes? He completed a marathon last month. He completed a marathon last month. To solve. To solve. I must not forget to water the plants while I am away. I must not forget to water the plants while I am away. Sometimes I was a firefighter. Sometimes I was a firefighter. Will you work? Will you work? I contact 10 years. I contact 10 years. He was directed to the exit by the security guard. He was directed to the exit by the security guard. I can tell. I can tell. Should he talk after one night? Should he talk after one night? I would not attend. I would not attend. We shouldn't prepare for 2 weeks. We shouldn't prepare for 2 weeks. You were exercising every month. You were exercising every month. He has won many awards for his art. He has won many awards for his art. Were they jockeys next year? Were they jockeys next year? Whose friend is he? Whose friend is he? Can you get me a glass of water? Can you get me a glass of water? Were their mother-in-laws naturalists? Were their mother-in-laws naturalists? Have I now refused? Have I now refused? I was so shy that I couldn't speak. I was so shy that I couldn't speak. Would you refuse? Would you refuse? Your relatives are entrepreneurs. Your relatives are entrepreneurs. Did it fit 2 nights ago? Did it fit 2 nights ago? Shouldn't you mess around at sunset? Shouldn't you mess around at sunset? What should I say? What should I say? He did not act as an announcer for 2 weeks. He did not act as an announcer for 2 weeks. I am a human being and I want to improve my life. I am a human being and I want to improve my life. Will they write yearly? Will they write yearly? Are our brothers florists? Are our brothers florists? Won't it hurt? Won't it hurt? I need to buy a new washing machine. I need to buy a new washing machine. We did not create. We did not create. Do they have to write 4 p.m.? Do they have to write 4 p.m.? Does it pull? Does it pull? Would we be athletes? Would we be athletes? My grandfather is a firefighter. My grandfather is a firefighter. Should it come in 2 minutes? Should it come in 2 minutes? Do you have $22? Do you have $22? Shouldn't they be lumberjacks every day? Shouldn't they be lumberjacks every day? Why I will be angry. Why I will be angry. The dragon spewed fire. The dragon spewed fire. I went to the school today. I went to the school today. You can try it annually. You can try it annually. Did you sort it a minute ago? Did you sort it a minute ago? He needs to be beaten occasionally. He needs to be beaten occasionally. You don't immediately reduce it. You don't immediately reduce it. After 1 week they should do gymnastics. After 1 week they should do gymnastics. I was sitting on the edge of the cliff and felt like I was on top of the world. I was sitting on the edge of the cliff and felt like I was on top of the world. Adjustability. Adjustability. 3. Yes, there is Wi-Fi in our hotel. 3. Yes, there is Wi-Fi in our hotel. It should not merge after 5 minutes. It should not merge after 5 minutes. He watched a movie with his girlfriend. He watched a movie with his girlfriend. Can they surround weekly? Can they surround weekly? I try to exercise every day. I try to exercise every day. Am I healed? Am I healed? I don't feel normal. I don't feel normal. The analysis shows that the company is profitable. The analysis shows that the company is profitable. The ground was covered with snow. The ground was covered with snow. I'm not Curl, I'm just curious. I'm not Curl, I'm just curious. All tickets are sold out. All tickets are sold out. Will you be performing in 2 evenings? Will you be performing in 2 evenings? Can't we support for 1 afternoon? Can't we support for 1 afternoon? For if there is no chance of a storm, I will go out. For if there is no chance of a storm, I will go out. Caught a fish in the lake. Caught a fish in the lake. Is my father an operator? Is my father an operator? I don't want to lose my losses for the machine. I don't want to lose my losses for the machine. Our grandparents are bartender. Our grandparents are bartender. We wouldn't be writing columns at noon. We wouldn't be writing columns at noon. We go to the movies on Friday nights. We go to the movies on Friday nights. When do you leave school? When do you leave school? Would prove in the twilight. Would prove in the twilight. I didn't answer the night before. I didn't answer the night before. Granddaughter is a vocalist. Granddaughter is a vocalist. I am not a daily commitment. I am not a daily commitment. I can paint yearly. I can paint yearly. How often do you go to your mother? How often do you go to your mother? I can win 4 more evenings later. I can win 4 more evenings later. Any cheese left in the fridge? Any cheese left in the fridge? Previously tied. Previously tied. A driver was sleeping in the car. A driver was sleeping in the car. That daily incentive? That daily incentive? Please use crutches to assist your mobility. Please use crutches to assist your mobility. Can't sleep next year? Can't sleep next year? Do you like football? Do you like football? He is ready. He is ready. I wasn't a consultant 5 nights ago. I wasn't a consultant 5 nights ago. Can we confess? Can we confess? Wouldn't he offer? Wouldn't he offer? A dehumidifier helps keep the basement dry. A dehumidifier helps keep the basement dry. Can he handle the afternoon? Can he handle the afternoon? Do you have a pet? Do you have a pet? Can you explain this concept to me one more time? Can you explain this concept to me one more time? Can destroy. Can destroy. He won't buy the car until he takes it for a test drive. He won't buy the car until he takes it for a test drive. Are their spouses anthropologists? Are their spouses anthropologists? May ask next year. May ask next year. Was her stepdaughter a golfer? Was her stepdaughter a golfer? Would take note. Would take note. Are their cousins janitors? Are their cousins janitors? Did not exceed. Did not exceed. We sign normally. We sign normally. I stroked my chest as I coughed. I stroked my chest as I coughed. His stepfather was on the jury. His stepfather was on the jury. Is your cousin a scientist? Is your cousin a scientist? Can't they demand? Can't they demand? Will you ride every year? Will you ride every year? Change can be difficult, but it can also be good. Change can be difficult, but it can also be good. I have a big surprise for you. I have a big surprise for you. The concert was postponed due to bad weather conditions. The concert was postponed due to bad weather conditions. You shouldn't get it soon. You shouldn't get it soon. Students took tests in class. Students took tests in class. I can win 4 more evenings later. I can win 4 more evenings later. Were our grandchildren tailors? Were our grandchildren tailors? It's not like you. It's not like you. It is important to use new words to improve your English. It is important to use new words to improve your English. Waste. Waste. They were not measured 5 hours ago. They were not measured 5 hours ago. Her mother-in-law was an aviator. Her mother-in-law was an aviator. We'll take note now. We'll take note now. Did he allow it at dusk? Did he allow it at dusk? Addiction policy. Addiction policy. You shouldn't be a professor soon. You shouldn't be a professor soon. They won't start the movie until everyone is seated. They won't start the movie until everyone is seated. Was your nephew a politician? Was your nephew a politician? Can we have lunch together one day? Can we have lunch together one day? Don't they often? Don't they often? Couldn't he have been a lifeguard a week ago? Couldn't he have been a lifeguard a week ago? His stepmother was a shop assistant. His stepmother was a shop assistant. Shouldn't it be closer in 2 weeks? Shouldn't it be closer in 2 weeks? My mother left my father again and came home a little earlier than I expected. My mother left my father again and came home a little earlier than I expected. You didn't litter for 2 weeks. You didn't litter for 2 weeks. Fun. Fun. Should we seek more expert advice? Should we seek more expert advice? Do you have any allergies or past surgeries? Do you have any allergies or past surgeries? Her neighbor was a model. Her neighbor was a model. By the time he graduates, he'll be going to college for 4 years. By the time he graduates, he'll be going to college for 4 years. Is your husband a landscape architect? Is your husband a landscape architect? There's a new restaurant in town. There's a new restaurant in town. It was finalized 3 weeks ago. It was finalized 3 weeks ago. The team played forward and dominated the game. The team played forward and dominated the game. You're an editor in 1 year. You're an editor in 1 year. He taught at the university. He taught at the university. Did he oversee the children? Did he oversee the children? I don't think education is necessarily the best solution. I don't think education is necessarily the best solution. I studied French at university. I studied French at university. Personal. Personal. Can I eat every day? Can I eat every day? He doesn't teach at 3 a.m. He doesn't teach at 3 a.m. You learn often. You learn often. Tinned. Tinned. We can build this house. We can build this house. Then it may not explode at 2 a.m. Then it may not explode at 2 a.m. Are your family tailors? Are your family tailors? Do you have a pet? Do you have a pet? Be reliable and responsible to yourself and others. Be reliable and responsible to yourself and others. Can he lie? Can he lie? I had already taken a shower when the power went out. I had already taken a shower when the power went out. Is your father a physiologist? Is your father a physiologist? Don't we listen often? Don't we listen often? Would he carry? Would he carry? I will taste something sweet. I will taste something sweet. He went on a trip with his friends. He went on a trip with his friends. He drew a portrait of his sister. He drew a portrait of his sister. Our wife was a machinist. Our wife was a machinist. Can't get married after 2 centuries? Can't get married after 2 centuries? He is very young and very new to our industry. But he is open to learning. He is very young and very new to our industry. But he is open to learning. Your grandparents are waiters. Your grandparents are waiters. Commit after 4 days? Commit after 4 days? Should I rest after 2 weeks? Should I rest after 2 weeks? We are aware of this. We are aware of this. On Saturday they cleaned the house. On Saturday they cleaned the house.